he's capturing a narrative. I love the narrative that you just unpacked, by the way. This idea about this desire to join the commercial sort of world of the West, and it's creating this like real narrative around longing.
I like fashion a lot, and maybe this is like fashion from 15 years ago. But there's a fashion brand called Vetements. I don't know how to pronounce it in French. Vetements is how I pronounce it. Vetements, I think, is maybe the way it's pronounced. I don't know. But this is led by Demna. This fashion designer used to work at the house of Maison Margiela. Okay, and there's a sense of credibility to Demna's work, and Demna ended up going to leaving Vetements and going to Balenciaga, and had a huge impact on kind of the banal aesthetic and the ugly aesthetic in fashion and streetwear, okay? And a lot of Demna's work, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, it comes from romanticizing the counterfeits of Levi's and other kind of fashion brands not being able to enter the Soviet Union.
By the way, the producer almost fell out of his chair because he just saw the price of some of these products.
Bro, they cost almost as much as Fleet's damn Loch Nester things.
You've never seen high fashion, dude? Did you not realize how expensive things are?
The most I'm willing to pay for a high-end thing is like $300.
Oh, well, okay, that's pretty good.
Someday,
and that's for like a suit or maybe like something on like a.
Someday, when you're running SOM, you're gonna want some nice clothes. Yeah. So you might spend a little bit more.
I think I prefer my disheveled look.
Okay, that's fine too. That's fine too, Nihar.
To go back to the Demna project, so the project of like the banal that he was trying to introduce was he grew up in the USSR and they weren't able to get Levi's because there were sanctions and stuff, right? So there was counterfeits that would come into the USSR, and there was this romanticized ideas, and this is a memory of the counterfeit reintroduced through the banal of high-end design. And now, if anyone knows kind of the history of Margiela's work, this person worked for, they also deal with the banal. And then you're talking about there's a lineage of Margiela and Helmut Lang that were working in the times in the early 90s where banality was something that like the everyday outfit was kind of amped to the extreme. There was a high sophistication or a high level of sophistication here where you're thinking about a project to influence the masses. And because it kind of looks like normal clothes, but kind of tweaked a little bit, it's a bit more acceptable than the Iris Van Harpen's that is like extreme formalism that we always try to kind of push forward as this is the future. There's a reason why this banality exists, and I'm trying to bring up two things. One is the mimicry thing, right? Mimicry of a past memory that really affected you and it affected a larger society of people that weren't able to access something, so you got counterfeits. And so now you made the counterfeit high design and charged $1,200 for a pair of jeans is an insane idea that I think is, as a project, is amazing, but as also as outfit, he tries to make the claim that the clothes is just normal clothing done well. And, you know, you can buy that. And I forget what the second point was, but there's something about the mimicry here that's really embedded in the project where you're not just copying. It's a very high sophisticated project that if people can write articles about this, and people have. If you just copy something and you can't get the depth of it and you can't build off of it, maybe that's where I start to question, because there's a sensibility and there's kind of like deep trauma built into this work.
Well, what you're bringing up is really interesting, though. I think it comes down to your intention to some extent. Like, are you copying something to try to replicate the original as close as possible, or are you mimicking to understand and put your own bit of soul into it? That's what I see here, and what I really like about it, actually, is like he's capturing a narrative. I love the narrative that you just unpacked, by the way, this idea about this desire to join the commercial sort of world of the West, and it's creating this like real narrative around longing to have that same lifestyle. So there's probably some really meaningful aesthetic here through the copying. Do you know what I'm trying to say by that?
And I think I think there are architects that try to do this, and I think like maybe Paul Preisner kind of deals with that in a certain way with the amateurness, and it's still high design. It's still very sophisticated, but from an outsider's perspective, it looks maybe not high design. It looks, because if anyone saw that without seeing the price, can you zoom in back on that jacket that you were zoomed in on that was like $4,500? Like nobody can imagine. Like if I saw that at the Marshalls or some sort of I don't know, thrift shop, I wouldn't ever think it's that expensive or that sophisticated.
Sorry, that's kind of how much money I have. I don't have that much money. I pulled a $2 bill out of my wallet. I was like, this never happened to me again.
He's trying to see if you can afford that jacket.
I love it.
Wait, you had a $2 bill, man?
I have a $2 bill.
Hey, let me get that. Real quick. I think there's some people that have never seen a $2 bill. Let me get that real quick. And then I'll get back.
I'm not even sure if it's legal. I hope it is.
$2 bills.
$2 bill.
Still legal tender.
There's a mural in the background. I don't know what it is, but
It's a very high quality $2 bill.
Yeah, dude. This sounds. It
It doesn't feel real. I went to the farmer's
definitely
market.
Counterfeit.
I went to the farmer's market and I was trying to buy a Stromboli, and they're like, it's like 12 or like $15, and I'm like, do you guys take $2 bills? And they're like, they were like, let me ask. And they're like, do we take $2 bills? And they're like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, guys, I'll give you $5 and just give me the change. I don't know who gave this to me. They might have lied to me and just given me counterfeit money.
That is counterfeit money, dude.
Feels like printer paper.
I'm pretty sure it was your student who gave me this. One of your students who gave me this.
Let me get that back in. You want me to crinkle it? Let me see this.
No, my dollar bill.
Oh. Yeah.
It sounds real.
It doesn't even crinkle.
Talking about copying and mimicking.
Oh yeah, speaking of counterfeits.
Yeah, totally. Hilarious.
Do
you think though, like I am really interested in this topic as it relates to architecture, because I think we're kind of going through this moment where we're rehashing a lot of like meaningful cultural thinking about historic architecture or just any era of architecture. So I'm very curious, like, could you have the same casual, I mean, we know people that are sort of doing this, right? Like the Paul Preisners of the world. I mean, there are others out there that I've seen who try to capture this notion of like a banal architecture that is brought to that same sort of level. And I'm just curious if it's possible. I don't know. Like, is it possible to have, I guess I'm trying to imagine what that looks like, and also what if it has a market.
I think it exists. I think when we try to make it a project, then it falls apart.
Yeah.
Like I think people can write about Demna's work and his fashion. I don't think he needs to go out there and talk about it. I don't think he does.
Yeah.
To this degree. I think when we try to make it a project, it's not working. He's trying way too hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.